Welcome to shul.com. We are reading from the book Enlighten, it's Enlighten, Our Eyes, from Rabbi Goldschmidt. It's a book on Shemirat Einayim. And he's, the last few pages, he's been giving us examples of some of the GEDOLIM, of what tactics they used in order to have Shemirat Einayim. Let's take a look. We are on page 53, up to Rav Yehuda Zev Segal Zatzal. Let's take a look. The Manchester Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Yehuda Zev Segal Zatzal, once missed his plane as he sat in the airport with his eyes glued to a sefer. Afraid to look up at the timetable screen lest he see some other image displayed alongside there too. Having consecrated his eyes since earliest youth, he wasn't going to take any chances. Catching planes came secondary. So you see from here that even though they had Shemirat Einayim and they were GEDOLIM, things didn't work out perfectly in some situations. There were consequences that they accepted because of that Shemirah. While not in the book right now, I haven't seen it yet, but there was an example, I know of a rabbi in, I think it was in Mexico, that didn't get a driving license and had his wife drive him everywhere. They said because like all of the billboards there were, women that weren't dressed properly, and it was very difficult. So like he just doesn't, when he drives, he just puts his head down. His wife drives him and doesn't even pay attention. Never even got a license. Just to show you that they took strategies in order to actually protect their eyes. Let's take a look. Continue. Rav Moshe Aryeh Freund Zatzal. Someone once asked Rav Moshe Aryeh Freund to look up at a second floor balcony to give a halachic ruling. I'll gladly walk up the stairs with you to view the building layout, he replied, but I couldn't look upwards like you request. It's something I haven't allowed myself to do since a very young age. So interesting that he didn't just let his eyes go anywhere they wanted. Always controlled to the point of not even looking up or down. Everything was very focused. Dayan Gershon Posen Zatzal. The author's father tells in the name of his own father, Zatzal, that in the Frankfurt area over 80 years ago, Dayan Gershon Posen would deliver shiur for ladies while remaining screened behind a curtain. Wow, that's very interesting. That he would teach the shiurim, but he was behind the mechitza. The women couldn't see him. That's unbelievable, and he couldn't see them. That's unbelievable. Rabbi Aharon Kotler Zatzal. On one occasion, it just so happened that Rabbi Aharon Kotler Zatzal inadvertently saw something unsuitable when turning a corner. His anguished reaction was to lean against a wall and weep. His citadel had been breached. Ribono shel olam, he cried. You took away so many of our brothers and sisters in the Holocaust. Why did you leave me alive? He would have preferred death at the hands of the Nazis rather than life in America if that meant sullied eyes. Wow. Let's take a look at the next one. Rav Baruch Ber Leibovitz Zatzal. Rav Baruch Ber was once about to go from one room to another when he realized that a young woman was standing there. She was perfectly modestly dressed, yet he stood afar and waited, being unwilling to even walk past her. Eventually, family members realized the problem and politely asked the young woman to move to a less conspicuous spot. He once arrived late at a wedding and became aware that the ladies were not dressed modestly enough. He instantly shut his eyes and had to be led like a blind man until he exited that room. Let's take a look. The next one is Rav Elchanan Wasserman Zatzal, Rav Reuven Dov Dessler, Rav Elia Lopian, and the Alter of Kelm. Let's take a look. Rav Elchanan Wasserman acquired the habit of going with head bent in order not to look beyond his Dalet Amot. So did Rav Reuven Dov Dessler. That exemplar of Kelm, Musar, and father of the famed Rav Eliyahu Eliezer Dessler, Rav Elia Lopian would never turn his head to the right or the left when in the street. The Alter of Kelm was known to have complete mastery over all his bodily movements. His eyes never looked to the sides. You could have thought they were nailed in position. Wow, interesting. Rav Shimon Karp Zatzal. When Rav Shimon Shkap went for walks with his Talmidim in the summertime, they noticed that if a person's shadow should fall across his path, he would pause and wait for it to pass in case it was a woman. So he paid attention even to the shade of and shadows around him. Rav Yerucham Leibovitz Zatzal. It once happened in the Meir Yeshiva in Europe that a couple of Bachurim slipped out of a lengthy seder illegally. No one noticed, and then they were soon in the sunshine, where they suddenly noticed the Mashgiach, Rav Yerucham Leibovitz, walking straight towards them. They were afraid of questioning and a reprimand, but the eldest of the group allayed their fears. "Just follow me," he whispered. Stepping slightly to the side, and with the others close on his heels, he strode straight past the Mashgiach without incident. "I just knew that in the street he would never raise his eyes off the ground," he explained to his mightily relieved companions. He knew the Mashgiach would never lift his eyes, so he got away. Now let's take a look at the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon Zatzal, from the age of Bar Mitzvah, never glanced outside his Dalit Amot. When he needed to go out into the street, he first reviewed the Mishilat Yesharim chapter on Zehirut, watchfulness, 13 times over. The legacy of our holy tzaddikim is truly awesome and inspiring. So that's today's lesson from Enlighten Our Eyes, some of the examples of the GEDOLIM. Tomorrow, he's going to start to discuss a nation born and a destiny carved. We'll take a look at that tomorrow. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.